What is up, YouTube? Jonny B here again today, and we're going to be bringing you a new video on the FRS. This is going to be one of the update videos before we head to the track. Obviously, I've been modifying it a little bit, adjusting the suspension, getting everything dialed in, so that way the car is at its best when we're going to be doing at the, tracking, going some hot laps, cornering hard, going at high speeds, just making sure that everything's going to be 100%. I don't want to have any issues, and I want the car to perform at its best. So I've been upgrading a couple more things. Obviously, you guys saw me upgrade the tires, which is one of the main things you want to do when you're going to be tracking your car. But next, we're going to go ahead and upgrade the front suspension. As you guys know, I've already upgraded all the control arms in the rear. I've added a bunch of bushings to stiffen up the subframe, sway bars front and rear. And now, one of the main things that I needed was to change the front A-arms, or the front LCAs. Mainly because the only ones that they do sell are either, to get maximum drift or angle, so you can get all that angle so you can drift pretty good. And then the other ones are if you want to get just like ridiculous camber is what they sell them for. So the first thing we swapped out, or we needed to swap out, was the front bushings. So those bushings are really soft and you need to switch them out to, get something that's going to be a little bit stiffer. This is also a spherical joint here. That completely eliminates the bushing. It's made by Perrin. So this piece right here run you around like 230 bucks. So what this does is it eliminates that, and it's a PSRS system. So it's a positive steering response system that, it's to corner better. That way when you're cornering, that bushing isn't flexing and it starts feeling kind of funny. And then another thing that we're gonna be installing is this. This is a Whiteline ball joint. So what this does, this is part of the bump steer correction kit, because when you lower your car, effectively your arms are supposed to be straight like this, and you lower it and then they get like a weird angle. So what this does is it's an extended one and kind of like fixes the geometry of your suspension once again to make sure that it's at its optimum. That way when when your suspension compresses, you're not going to be getting like weird camber angles, and you're going to be getting what was intended from the factory, to have that perfect steering geometry. That way, you don't lose any grip while cornering also. So that's gonna help out with that. That kit runs you around like 180. I believe they discontinued it, so I got lucky on these. These also come with the outer tie rods. Let me get one, show you guys. Here we go. This is the outer tie rod. So this is gonna help the front suspension a lot. And then obviously we have some polyurethane bushings on this other bushing right here. That way the front LCA is completely upgraded, and it's gonna hopefully steer a lot better and fix some of the understeering issues that I would have had. Obviously I'm running a really fat tire, so it might not be as noticeable in this car, but I want to make sure the suspension is at 100% like I said. So let's go ahead and install this. All right guys, so now all we have to do is remove our stock LCA and replace it with the new one, which is also a stock one, but it's obviously upgraded. Luckily, I bought this lower control arm as is with already, this $220 piece and $200 Whiteline kit from Evasive Motorsports. So shout out to Hank Lee for hooking it up. These were already pressed in. It was a great deal to buy it, already pressed in with the pieces already included. So it was pretty awesome that I'm just gonna, all I need to do is go ahead and swap them out with my stock LCAs and basically good to go. And then probably need to get an alignment after that because I'm probably gonna mess with something. I'm gonna try to keep it as perfectly aligned as possible so it's still drivable, but then we're probably gonna need to take it to an alignment. So let's go ahead and start off on the ball joint that's right underneath the knuckle, the front knuckle. There's a pin that you're gonna go ahead and need to remove. So let me show you guys that. This is the little pin right here that you're gonna need to remove from your front ball joint. And then you can go ahead and take off the nut because that's the only thing that's gonna be holding it. And what I did is I went ahead and took off this castle nut completely. So on the stock one, there we go. And then just flip it backwards and then put it to where it's flat with the top of it. And that way you can go ahead and hammer it down. So I used an extension just like that because the knuckle's kind of in the way, and I just hammered it out. That way it pops the ball joint out. I found that's probably the easiest way to do it. And that way you can get this to unlodge itself from where it's at. So I can't really show you that in there. So I wanted to show you that here before we go ahead and do that. And then the rest of it is relatively just bolt on, bolt off. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, it's all finally installed. That was relatively painless. It was just easy swap in and swap out just because of the fact that those parts were already pressed in. As you can see, I should have probably wore some gloves. My hands are a little dirty. That's just what happens when you're messing with the suspension components where there's grease and stuff like that. Obviously dirt and water gets kicked up under there, so it's gonna be dirty. But it was easy to do. Hopefully that's gonna, help out with the steering geometry of the car, activate more grip as Whiteline states as their slogan. So hopefully when I'm cornering, I won't have understeer. Obviously, I'm gonna have to negate that somehow by either pushing on the throttle a little bit or giving it enough, braking force to where I transfer the weight to the front to get that grip in the front, maybe do like a little pendulum flick. I don't know what I'm gonna do at the track. We'll see when we're out there, see if we can put this all to the test. Obviously, I've ran it over a million times on a simulator, and I've done, a bunch of different cars. Obviously, if you guys have seen, we have a really nice setup, which is really realistic. So this is gonna be my first time tracking this car as its current setup is. I did end up, adjusting the suspension from last video. I told you guys that the tires were rubbing a little bit. So I needed to adjust the suspension a little bit for the track day. So I did raise it an inch all around. My tires were tucking on the Rocket Bunny. So hopefully that inch of travel will give me enough to where I'm not gonna be rubbing. I'll be able to take the apex, because when you hit the apex, your car's gonna be getting lifted up off the air a little bit sometimes. So you want that, suspension travel, especially on your tracking. You don't want your tire getting stuck on something, rubbing and effectively slowing you down. So just trying to get it as prepped, as dialed in as possible for the track this upcoming week. Yeah, pretty much it. So that was one of the last pieces of the puzzle to get, fully upgraded suspension. Now I can say every single bushing, every single control arm, everything has been upgraded. So that's pretty cool. It's a good feeling. So hopefully that'll help me take the corners, a lot faster than most of the guys out there. Even though the car isn't, as light as a Miata or as powerful as a Z06 Corvette, it should be somewhere in the middle, and hopefully it'll be relatively, power to weight ratio will be good. So I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited too. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, hit that bell notification. That way you guys know as soon as the video drops, so you can go check it out. Hopefully this motivates you into starting, track racing, because we all build race cars, right? I've been building this race car for 3 years and I haven't taken it to the actual track. So that's what we need to do. So hopefully this motivates you to take your race car build and actually put it on the track, because I talk to a lot of guys that have race car builds and they're afraid to take it to the track just because they know that they're missing some stuff, but they still call it a race car. So hopefully this will be, top notch, 100% good to be able to handle that track day. I think it's like 4 20-minute sessions. Obviously I'm going to be a beginner in the beginner category to be able to learn, go through some instructors, so that way they can teach me. As much as they can teach me, I already know quite a bit. It's just you have to go through that course no matter what when you're the first time going with that organization or whatever. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this was helpful towards you, and you guys have a great day.